Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the First Alert. We're going to discuss some changing weather coming our way, changing in the positive if you don't like cold weather. But we got a little bit for everybody in the next couple of days. So we're going to really start to see some improvement in our temperatures as we head through the weekend and especially into next week. So if you don't like the cold weather we've been dealing with, just hang tight. We are going to get some warmer weather coming our way as we head into the weekend. Speaking of the colder weather that we've been dealing with, this is some of the coldest air we've seen in quite some time. We're going to have those temperatures bottoming out officially in the 30s here in Charlotte and a little bit colder in the outlying areas. So looking at that map on the right hand side of your screen, we have the temperature contour, and you see that changing, but notice those blues and darker blues. That's where we have frost advisories and freeze warnings, and that does include a good chunk of our area, and we'll see those temperatures very similar tonight as what we're going to have tomorrow morning, maybe a degree or two warmer. So let's kind of talk about what's going on. Going to show current temperatures if you're watching this back at a later point in time. This is as of 8 a.m. on Thursday morning. Look at those temperatures, 30 in Lawndale, 40 at CLT, 39 in Uptown now, 37 in Concord, 36 Mount Pleasant, Albemarle at 42 degrees, 37 in Rock Hill. So these temperatures are starting to warm up a little bit. The sun's been up for about a half hour, and that's helping those temperatures warm up as well. But some of us did fall down below freezing. So the National Weather Service will issue freeze warnings and frost advisories again tonight for areas that need it. But we are going to have areas that did see a widespread freeze, potentially back toward Morganton, Lenoir, up into the high country. And what happens with this is the National Weather Service looks at this data. And the purpose of freeze warnings and frost advisories and those things are that it really impacts the growing season. So the reason that freeze warning is issued is really a sign of the end of growing season. And once we get that hard freeze and a killing freeze across those areas, the National Weather Service will no longer issue those warnings. So if you were down into the upper 20s and it was widespread enough to do damage to any of those plants, the National Weather Service will no longer issue frost advisories or freeze warnings, and that's why you might not see it again. I always get those questions as we get into the middle of the winter and we have these temperatures down into the 20s. Well, where's the freeze warning? Again, that's tied strictly to the growing season and the plants that are growing. So that's why you might not see a freeze warning again in your area if you did see those temperatures falling down below 32 degrees, especially into the upper 20s. So we'll be watching for that update to come from the National Weather Service as we head into the afternoon and evening. And of course, we'll bring you the first alert if needed to those colder temperatures and frost advisories and freeze warnings yet again. Wanted to talk about this a little bit though. We're well into the middle of October now, October 17th. The average first freeze in Boone is October 14th, October 3rd for Banner Elk, Morganton, October 21st, and then as you get a little bit further into the Piedmont, November 1st for Concord, and then Charlotte at the airport, the average is November 4th. So when have we had our first freeze? Well, of course, that average is November 4th, as I just highlighted, but the last 10 years, 8 of them have been in the month of November, and a lot of them later than the November 4th day time frame. So again, we're October 17th right now. Our average is November 4th. In 2022, we did have a freeze on October 19th, but 4 out of the last 5 years have been in the first week of October. So not too uncommon to see a freeze this time of year. Let's talk about those cold temperatures we've had over the last couple of days. Looking at those temperatures down to 42 degrees yesterday morning, and last weekend we had those temperatures down into the mid 40s. So not off the charts and not too uncommon, but we do have that first alert in play for today, and we're going to see likely going to see a first alert for tomorrow as well, with those temperatures back down into the upper 30s with the potential for frost as well. So bringing you the first alert to those cold temperatures, regardless if we have frost advisories or freeze warnings across the area. We do have that first alert in play for today, and those temperatures are going to be very similar as we go through the day tomorrow. But the good thing is we do have some warmer weather coming our way, and we'll see those temperatures climbing up into the upper 70s as we head into next week as well. So above average temperatures return, overnight lows a lot closer to average as we head into next week as well. So this is going to be something that we keep a close eye on. But the reason why we're seeing this, and I'm going to take this full, we're going to see a shift in our pattern and things changing as we go through the next couple of days. We're going to have what is called an omega pattern setting up. And it's called omega pattern because it looks like the shape of the Greek letter omega. And you can kind of see this taking shape here. You can see that low pressure system out over really off both coasts with a big area of high pressure. And this is upper level high pressures and low pressures that we are dealing with. This is all going to slide to the east as we go through the next couple of days. Really going to start to take shape as we go through the day tomorrow as well. And then just kind of holding steady all the way through the next week or so. If you've been following us and you know about weather, you know areas high pressure indicative of some nice weather. Now we could see some cold overnight lows for the next couple of days, but during the afternoon we'll see big temperature swings because dry air is in place due to that area of high pressure. And then as we head into the early portions of next week, we're not going to see this changing too much with, again, that omega block setting up. And it's called a block because it means the pattern's not going to change for a couple of days, and we're going to continue to see some pretty nice weather as a result of that before finally breaking as we head into next week. So nice weather, as I mentioned, indicative of no rain chances and a lot of sunshine. Let's look a little long range here. This is longer than we typically talk about on that 7-day forecast. This is day 8 through 14, and this is the chances that we will see above average temperatures. So the darker the red or orange, the better the chances for above average temperatures, not necessarily how much above average. Just know that there's a pretty good chance we'll see those above average temperatures. As I highlighted in that 7-day graphic, showing those above average temperatures and below average precip expected to continue across the southeastern U.S. as we go through the next couple of days as well. And again, a lot of that has to do with that omega block that we are talking about. So here's what it looks like on that 7-day forecast. First alert in play for today. Morning hours, frost advisory, freeze warning, and just bringing you the first alert for some cold temperatures coming our way as we head into Friday morning as well, back into the upper 30s and low 40s across the area. National Weather Service has not issued frost advisories or freeze warnings across the area yet, but of course we'll continue to monitor that. Regardless, here's your first alert. It's going to be cold once again tomorrow morning, and a first alert to a warm up coming our way as we head into next week. 77 on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. Into the upper 70s we go. 79 on Wednesday. Our average highs this time of year, 73, average low 50. So we'll be a little above average on the high end, but overnight lows down to about 50 degrees as well. So we'll continue to monitor things. Make sure you're checking back for updates on the forecast. I appreciate y'all joining me for this edition of the First Alert.